G'day folks, it's time for a diesel Sunday. I am getting ready to pull injectors. I don't have the pulling tool yet, but that's on its way. It should be Monday, tomorrow. So now all I'm doing is getting ready to remove the high pressure lines, the spill return lines, cap off and blank off as much as I can, and start cleaning the head. I want to clean all the muck away from particularly the back. Yeah, it's going to be a fiddly little job, but not too hard. I've also got to remove the coolant reservoir. Yeah, not too bad. At least everything's accessible. Fuel rail, it's been sitting overnight, so there's no pressure in it. I've already tried bleeding by cracking nuts and nothing comes out, so that's safe. So these do run up to, some common rail systems are like 40,000 psi. This one I believe is about 25,000. So it's pretty high pressure. But that one down there is the culprit. That's the leaky one at the moment. The Black Death. A bad copper washer. That's the high pressure pump. 3-cylinder radial pump. Yeah. There's something in there. This is all fuel. There's fuel in that. And there's a modulator down there by the looks of it. That's the fuel filter. Yeah. Fuel heat exchanger. Anyway, I'm going to look at I'll remove the coolant bottle before I do anything else, and then get a vacuum pump and pickup canister handy just so I can suck any fuel and debris out from around the head. I don't want to wash it down because that one back with the injector's leaking, and any water and degreaser would end up inside the combustion chamber. So until that's actually resealed, I can't just wash the top of the engine down, which sucks because it needs a good clean. Oh well. Oh dear, I can't say I didn't see this coming. You gotta love old plastic coolant bottles. The plastic is, no longer plastic anymore. Especially that bottom one. Yeah, it's just coming out. I can either try and, it's not really even worth trying to drill and tap a hole in it. I think I'll just order another one because the rest of the bottle's probably not far off, especially the main hose connector on the bottom. Where that Y piece goes in, that doesn't look very good. So it's about $120 to get one shipped to my door from an Australian supplier. Can't say I didn't expect it. I mean, you've got really high mile plastics and a lot of discoloration. A lot of cars do that when you very carefully try and remove hoses from a very old coolant bottle. Little plastic barbs break off. That's why I won't be poking that radiator until, well, I'll have a brand new one in my possession. Same sort of thing, the top connectors will probably break. Oh well, car needs a major cooling system service anyway, so I'll do it one bit at a time. Grab a roll of heater hose while I'm shopping for other bits. Yeah, that's nasty. All these hoses have seen better days, so it's just a matter of stripping them out and rerunning them all with brand new hose. It looks like about 8mm hose. Not hard to do. I might even have some in stock actually. I'll have a look. Okay, well that's the underside of it. And plastic splitting off the brass barb as well. This one's done. Very typical failure mode for plastic expansion tanks. Yeah, there's no repairing this one. At least not in any reasonable means. I mean, you could almost cut it off and tap a fitting in there, but all the plastic's so brittle it's not really worth it. I mean, to get out of trouble it'd be alright, but it'd have to be replaced very shortly after the roadworthy. So, nope. I'm just going to order a new one on Monday. And I'll get me pay in anyway. Well, at least I can get to the injector now. Just tie them back up. That's throttle cable going to the throttle electronic modulator controller. And that's coolant hose that can stay down there. All good. What a mess. What an absolute mess. All that crusty shit there's evidence of these other injectors having the same problem. They've only replaced one washer at a time rather than all of them. I'm going to replace the rear one to get through roadworthy, then I'm going to take the rest out and do them immediately afterwards. Just do the lot of them. Alright, got slightly better access. Did a bit of a trick that Brad actually told me about, which was to lower tyre pressures a little bit so you get that extra bit of clearance in the front end. And since these are bald, I just thought, nah, screw it, I'll let most of the air out of this front corner, and sure enough she kneels down far enough that I can get a good clean access of that injector. I'll get brand new tyres for her on Monday or Tuesday again, so not too fussed about wrecking one of them. They're all bald as a baby's bum anyway. Scary driving in the wet. Oh, it's been chewed. One thing I noticed, that's not a burn. Something's actually been living in there. It chewed its way out like a chest burster. Well, actually a rat's. Nothing but rats. Nothing else really looks too nibbled though, but I'd be willing to bet that CAN bus error that she's throwing up is probably related to a nibbled wire somewhere. They haven't made it into the cabin, but they did get into the hood lining in the engine bay, so I'll have to inspect the main loom. It comes out through there behind the E-box. Bit of a worry. Oh well. So I'm just starting to scrape up some of that carbon, and I'm going to try and vacuum it out of there. It's not the easiest stuff to get off. It's a hard tar like shit. I don't want to dissolve it because then stuff will flood down into the cylinder past that copper washer. Provided it's as bad as I think it is. I mean, it might only be leaking under compression, but I don't want to find out later that I've flooded 50 millilitres of water or something down into the cylinder. That would be bad. So, yeah. Once I've done a lot of scraping and cleaning, I'll then start disconnecting lines and cap everything off. I need some rubber grommets and plastic caps to cover the barbs. I don't want any crap getting into any of those injectors at all. One tiny little bit will just block it up and that'll be it. Have to send it off to shop for reco or replacement. And they're about $650 each, so I don't want to do that. Not yet anyway. One day I might throw a new set of injectors in when I can find cheaper ones, but I still think they're about $90 changeover reco each. So it's almost $500 worth of injectors, $450 worth of injectors. Anyway, I've got good access now, so it's time to just keep cleaning little wire brushes and things, and then vacuum and blow all the carbon out away from the injectors and lines before I start disconnecting. Yeah, good car. Going to come up very good actually. Ooh, some nasty looking stuff right there. And plenty of muck get down into the clamp bolt hole and the clamp itself. It's just combustion residue, partially burnt fuel. It's not that tenacious, like the soft steel brush removes it pretty easy, but it's nasty enough. These are expendable stretch bolts. That won't get cleaned up. I'll throw that out and use the new ones that come with the kit. You should always use the new ones. Rechase the threads in the head. There's about that much thread. So rechase all of them, make sure it's all spotlessly clean. Make absolutely sure there's no cleaning fluid or coolant or anything down the bottom of the bolt hole. because driving that bolt in hard will hydraulically split the cylinder head in that area, and there happens to be a cooling gallery directly underneath, so you end up with a permanent coolant leak and need a new head. So utmost care must be taken to make sure that that bolt hole is nice and clean, you've got never sees on the threads, and you torque it up properly, because if you destroy that thread you're in big trouble. Thankfully this one came out without a hitch. It was a little bit stiff, but that was mainly this tar up in this upper portion just gluing it in place. So yeah, cleaning time. I got the injector line loose and cleaned up. I put it back on because I couldn't find a cap big enough for the injector itself. I don't want any debris getting in there. Nothing. It's got to be clean. Okay, well, gotten about as far as I can for the time being. I'm going to leave it as it is. Just got to wait for the proper tool to arrive. I've tried giving it a bit of a poke and a prod and see if it moves. Like, it moves side to side ever so slightly, but there's a tapered seat in the bottom of it which is stuck. Or it's just the muck that's in there that's retaining it. Either way, I've got a proper puller. You have to unscrew this top section first with the electronic solenoid on it, then screw the puller onto the top of the head where the solenoid was, and pull it out. So it's a fairly tricky little setup, but it's not too hard. There's plenty of room to work now that the coolant bottle's out of the way. Very good. Apart from that, I just got a few lighting things to fix. I've got to polish the headlights and get rid of that old UV damaged polycarb layer. Cut it back. Cheap toothpaste or Brasso usually does it. And just waiting on parts, really. Just parts got to come in. That's all there is to it. Anyway, thanks for watching.